Adversity came to town and said, "Show me what you're made of." So we showed it our people, supporting communities by sourcing and distributing fresh food. Our drivers helping grocers restock their shelves. How we're helping restaurants open pop-up markets and encouraging all Americans to take out to give back. Adversity came to town. So we looked it in the eye. And it won't be us that blinks first.
Support for Food is Love is provided by Wild Alaska Salmon and Seafood. 100% fisherman family owned, independent seafood sourcing. Catching, processing, and delivering seafood directly to the consumer's front door. From caught to bought, wild salmon direct from the fishermen. Information at wildalaskasalmonandseafood.com.
As humans, there are things we experience no matter what part of the world we live in. You can think of them as universal truths. Stuff like happiness, pain, laughter, love, loss, and eggs. That's right, eggs. In just about every place in the world you can find eggs, and nearly every culture you talk to would recognize them. But even despite a global presence, the answer to the age-old question of the chicken or the egg still managed to cause debate. But as for the question which comes first, the Tunisian or the egg, well, anyone in Benton Park who eats breakfast can tell you the answer to that. This is Faisal, a Tunisian transplant to St. Louis, amateur historian.
Tunisia, it's like thousands of years old, so it has many influences.
And purveyor of the Benton Park breakfast spot, Egg Restaurant. Since 2013, he has taken the concept of the egg breakfast and fused it with different culture influences of his Tunisian homeland. We can all agree that eggs are universally familiar, unless you're talking about the eggs here. As a chef, I need to stay curious in order to evolve. For me, that means looking beyond a great meal to learn more about who made it and what inspires them to cook. Every great city has great food. I'm going on a journey around the world right here in St. Louis to find good food and experience other cultures. I'm on a quest to find passionate chefs who cooks from the heart. Because food is love.
It's gonna be delicious.
Food is love. Love your food. Mid-spring, life is moving along at its usual pace in the big city. Up early, I find myself elbow deep in harissa learning the lines in the kitchen of Egg Restaurant. Faisal, one of the owners at Egg, is getting me familiar with the menu before our planned return trip 1 week later to film this very episode. Then it happened. In response to the pandemic, the world seemingly came to a halt. We were naive in the beginning, thinking in a few weeks we would be back on schedule, but it got worse. The city of St. Louis, like the rest of the world, were in some form of quarantine. Cases began to rise as the medical community struggled to keep up. Restaurants and businesses had to learn to operate under very limiting restrictions or completely shut down in some cases. Many will never reopen. There are others still who, against the odds, are making it work. It's been well over 3 months, but I'm coming to have breakfast with Faisal to get his thoughts on the current state of things.
So business-wise, how are you doing now with all these restrictions, COVID restrictions?
Not good. Every customer costs you more now.
Take safety precautions, but come out and support the restaurants. It's tough.
I'm super grateful for our platform of friends and customers. They kept patronizing with us. They become the core of this business for me, you know,
Yeah.
because no matter what, there is always support. With that particular support,
Yeah.
for me, it keeps me going, you know.
I see that in my restaurants. People come in and they're spending money that they normally wouldn't. Because they know we're in trouble.
The revenue and the money and all and the expense, like even now we cannot catch up, but we can rebuild in the future. The greatest city of St. Louis, we overcome many obstacles and many disasters, you know, like we are one of the greatest cities in the nation. From the 18th centuries all the way to the 19th centuries, this is it. This is the core and the hub of everything's happening around us. 1804, Louisiana Purchase, which is, that opened up the door wide for like a gateway to the west to become gateway to the west. Like St. Louis becomes the spotlight. In the Mississippi River, we have like a mile of steamboats, sometimes third way into the river, sometimes like 1 mile, 2 miles on the banks of the river. The Great Fire in St. Louis, 1849, caused by steamboats. And they try to push the boat away from the city so the river will take it. A windy day, so the boat came back and would like engulf other 25 steamer boats, and it becomes the Great Fire. But you know, guess what? We rebuilt. We built the city and we kept living.
Pandemic aside, keeping an egg-themed menu running, or from running maybe, requires its own measures. And if you didn't catch it, that was a yoke.
One of the biggest challenges is how to grab the eggs without burst one inside the water.
Yeah, that's the biggest struggle at egg restaurant is the eggs.
Keep the eggs.
When it comes to building an order of pork belly Benedict, Faisal has reached level 10 mastery of his craft.
Voila.
It looks delicious.
You have to taste it to understand.
So, do you have a favorite dish?
Everything is my favorite dish because every dish, it has a different character and different taste, different way to prepare it. Even though it looks simple to put it together, but it's very complex to reach the stage.
See, this is kudos to you. This egg is perfect.
Yes.
See how that is right here?
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
That is perfect right there.
Or like this too, huh? You know?
Oh, look at that. So how do you come up with the name egg?
So egg, Lasse, he come out with the name. Lasse, my partner.
Yeah.
What I like about egg, which is I will not change the restaurant name from egg. It'll give you the chance to explore through multiple dishes by just incorporate eggs.
I mean, it has so many uses.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like we survive. The protein
and it's in everything.
Oh, it's like a protein, source of protein. It's like the most. Even like people, they don't eat meat, but they still eat eggs. Shakshuka now, you can find it from Barcelona all the way to Tel Aviv.
It is delicious.
Enjoy. Like at egg, we have the opportunity to bring different civilizations together in one plate.
Yeah.
Like actually, you can bring different ethnic backgrounds and put it in one plate.
Well, that's what makes the cuisine so interesting.
Yes. The barbacoa, or the carnitas, or the merguez. We have a fantastic French toast with a twist, European, African twist to it. Yeah, this is a barbacoa. It's one of my favorites. Actually, we serve this with in a sandwich too, down in Midtown. We have a very popular sandwich, barbacoa sandwich. It's amazing. The Spanish occupied, especially northwest of Africa, especially Tunisia, for 47 years. The only good thing they brought with them is the peppers. The peppers.
Okay.
Anything else they did to us, I'm not a big fan. But at least I give them the credit of the harissa.
So is there anything in the name, harissa?
Harissa means crush. What's in here? This particular harissa, it's pretty much the same family recipe. The only things different about it is the peppers I'm using. And take some bread.
Okay.
And then, because we use like this, your hand, like that. And then, voila. Drinking and eating a harissa, it'll open your appetite, so you'll be able to eat more. You taste the garlic.
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, coriander, a little bit salt. With these, we are building a pulled pork hash.
Okay.
Will be pulled pork with a little bit of barbecue sauce, breakfast potatoes, and nice coleslaw goes on top. One of our iconic dishes to serve here. All right. And this is the barbacoa. We serve it over grits. Also, we can make a fantastic sandwich with this. So this is a chopped, cut small pieces of brisket. The sauce, that's the mole. It cooks in its own mole.
Looks fantastic.
Ah, this is it. house-made chorizo. Chorizo, we use pork shoulders. Chorizo has a lot of cinnamon, a lot of cumin, ancho peppers, mainly paprika. This is the mole. So the mole sauce, we have it on the side for El Rancheros. We have a fantastic huevos rancheros. I think one of the best.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. You know, it's like
No.
one of the best in town. But for us, we need to have a fantastic egg like this. You know, see, it's always soft inside, and the white is cooked all the way around.
Yeah.
So this is our cornbread. So what's make our cornbread unique too? Because we use two different type of corn. We use Aztec corn, which is a corn native from the Midwest, blue corn or purple corn, and we use yellow corn. The Aztec corn changed the density and the complexity of the cornbread. The first stage of the pork belly benedict is the bread. I created a dessert from this cornbread. We call it gâteau.
Okay.
Gâteau is cake in French.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what makes St. Louis a good fit for a guy from Tunisia? Well, for starters, of course, there is the French connection.
For me to live in St. Louis for 22 years without being fascinated by the history of it, I would not be here today. But it's like it has a lot of similarity with where I came from. You know, like the city of St. Louis actually is founded by French. Like Pierre Laclede.
Tunisia were under French control for over 75 years, leaving their mark on many aspects of their culture, including the language and the food. St. Louis, of course, has a strong French history of its own.
See, there is many similarities. I never planned this. I never thought about it. I never thought I'm living from French influence. And I end up here in St. Louis. It has like a French thick history.
After a quick tour of the building and a little about its history.
Now, the Fight Club, this way.
Okay.
For women only, though. Huh?
Okay.
We're not involved in this Fight Club.
Faisal is taking us across town to Egg's second location in Midtown.
Welcome aboard. I never drove this car before, so hang on tight.
Could you tell me the name of this street? Met gravel, right?
Yes, so Gravois was the first gravel road. French, this is the main investment. They made the main road for the cotton, for the leather.
So what do you think makes Benton Park unique to
The history,
St. Louis?
The history background. It was a magnet for many immigrants, Lasse. So people felt comfortable to live around here. And this particular city, demographically changed throughout the years. We're going to Midtown, yes?
Okay. So tell me about that location. When did that come about?
We opened maybe in late December, January. And we have to close our doors quickly after we opened because all this happened. The COVID and restriction. We've been open like 25% capacity, not too much business, but we have to survive, you know.
Yeah, but it seems like you have a pretty positive outlook on the future, regardless of what's going on.
Totally. Yeah, I'm looking forward. After the Great Fire, most of people, when they rebuild around this neighborhood. We're talking about 1800s now, huh? This one's been around for ages too, right? Specifically this house.
It's interesting, a guy from Tunisia knows more about St. Louis than a lot of people live in St. Louis.
This particular area, Midtown, the layout's changing. How people are coming back to rehab and reopen and change the landscape. And you have to take some risks with it, and you have to be adventurous. And exactly this is what we're doing. We try to just follow it. We see how far we can go with this. All right, this is Egg. Heather, good to see you. Looking amazing, like usual. Steph is the same thing. You guys too, okay.
Okay.
The vibe at Egg Midtown matches the feel of the neighborhood.
This is our second location.
We covered the similarities of French influence and street names that sounds familiar,
Knock, knock.
what else could make St. Louis a good fit for a Tunisian?
I'm gonna leave you with this guy now.
You ready for some screaming?
Yeah, come on.
Well, how about another Tunisian? This is Lasse, Faisal's business partner, captain of Egg Midtown, and fellow Tunisian. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
Things are good?
I've had a lot of food to eat today.
Good, good.
It was all good.
You're done? We got more.
No, I'm not done. So you're both from Tunisia?
Yes.
Okay, and then so did you have a Tunisian club you met at, or you meet each other in the street, or?
Actually, we met in St. Louis, believe it or not.
Okay.
When you come to St. Louis from the Mediterranean, the first thing you start craving is the food, you know?
Faisal and Lasse are both Tunisians, but met each other in St. Louis and have a successful business to show for. That fact alone is a perfect illustration of how beautiful this city can be.
This is like the golden age of food,
I think
the
so.
food scene in St. Louis.
For the last 20 years, actually.
And
Lasse.
hopefully nothing happens to it with this corona. I mean, the whole dining out experience is changing.
So if you have like a fantastic neighborhood like Midtown, comes back to life. When we have Benton Park, Lafayette Square, people start venturing out, walking outside.
Well, I mean, we're so used to in European cities to
Yeah,
sit outside,
sit outside.
have your coffee and paper, croissant, and watch the world go by. Yeah, and I'm sure you feel the same way. A lot of people come to my restaurant to see me and see my wife, and we hug them, and it's part of it. And now you can't do that, and we all need hugs.
Oh, as energy travels through hugs, you know?
Yeah.
You comfort someone when you hug someone.
But that's why the food is going to become more important, because you're going to have to hug people through your food now.
Oh, that's why we've been doing that.
Is there a difference between the two eggs, would you say?
There's not much difference really, as far as kind of what we're trying to do is kind of be part of the neighborhood we're in. We consider ourselves artists. We're not businessmen.
Yeah, not into the money.
There is nothing in us that screams business.
The stories here can go on all day, but when you run a restaurant, you don't have all day.
You need any help back here?
So Faisal has invited me for dinner at his home.
Lasse,
Yeah.
2 tacos, 2 chorizo.
Okay.
I, of course, arrive early to help with the meal. The flavor of the harissa left an impression on me. There is nothing like feeling inspired to get back in the kitchen and cook.
Hey, puppy. He has the best taste palette. There you go. What kind of cheese is this?
He's not agreeing. So what do you call this?
Beet salad. Potatoes, beets, onions, green beans. The vinaigrette is salt, pepper, olive oil, lemon, anchovies paste. This dish, it's pretty much from Tunis, the capital.
You know, when do we as chefs get to cook together, you know, in somebody's house? This is perfect.
Thank you. You see now that salad, that's like it's going to change people's life, man. Beets and mayo is the best marriage.
But you're talking to a Danish guy. Potatoes and beets.
And it's like,
Yeah, so that's a special container for the couscous over there, right?
Couscouserie, yeah. They call it couscousière in French.
Couscousière.
Couscousière, yeah. There is 300 different style of couscous. And there is about maybe thousands of ways to make couscous, from region to region. So if you are more inland, most of the couscous is like lamb and beef. And if you are in a coastal town, fish. Like group or sardine, like the town I'm from, Hamamsous, they make even couscous with mackerel. When you grew up in Tunis, you are exposed to all the regions of Tunisia. The one I used like a recipe from my grandma, Zora, and my mom. My grandma, she always wanted to do this. When she do the sauce, she goes around like this. The vegetable I use, beets, a little bit of turnip, potatoes in here, garlic, green onions, zucchini. Most of the time, the fish it cooks last, so you put it in and take it out. I think it's a success, Lasse.
Okay.
All right.
So like, you know, if it was just you at home, you would all sit and eat from this bowl.
Oh yeah, like you sit around the table and you eat, and you have the tapas, the other stuff, you know.
It looks beautiful.
All right, I think we're done with this one,
Okay.
Lasse.
Okay.
All right, this
I'll
is the
set it in
couscous.
here on the table.
Yeah. The diversity of Tunisian food comes from the diversity of people who went through that land. We talk about 5,000 years.
Like what Faisal was talking about, Tunisia being the crossroad in its position in the Mediterranean. It's kind of, everybody pretty much kind of went through it, you know. It was a French colony for 75 years. The culinary culture is shaped by all these cultures that got through there, came through it. And the flavor profile that developed, that's now people like fusion food. It is the fusion food basically over centuries.
Yeah.
It became a distinctive flavor. Here in St. Louis, we're trying to kind of bring that flavor profile and those flavors here to our customers.
So do you consider yourself Tunisian, or do you consider yourself American now?
Oh, we are, you know, we are American. But from Tunisia,
Tunisian American.
Yeah.
Italian American, Mexican.
Like I'm Danish American.
Yeah.
We embrace everything here,
Yeah.
but we still try to keep some
Definitely,
of our...
definitely. I mean, to be a Tunisian, you have to have an olive tree.
Yeah.
If you don't have an olive tree somewhere, you're not Tunisian. And that's the good thing about America. America is easy to assimilate here. And it's easy, it's why it's a melting pot and everybody feels that they're American. It's because it's an idea. America is an idea. It's not rooted in land like back home.
Hearing stories about their experience and their fun reflections of Tunisia reminds me in a lot of ways about my own story.
Even Tunisian people in the Midwest, before me or Lasse tackled this industry, they don't do it because no one knows about it. Who's going to buy mloukhaya? I can't even say kha. Can you still? I can't even sell it.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, can you? What about we make some shakshuka? No.
Who's gonna buy it?
Shakshuka, they will. But you know, when we start with the breakfast at egg, the pronunciation of it will not be a barrier for you to enjoy a fantastic shakshuka, and then you have the chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
How do we say food is love in Tunisian?
ماكلة هي الحب. ماكلة هي الحب.
Yeah.
Mekla el heya hub.
That's what I say. Maybe he said it differently.
Nourriture, c'est l'amour.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
in
we're
French.
French.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Two guys from Tunisia opening a restaurant in St. Louis.
Yeah.
You know, in order to hammer that through where it becomes a success, that's not easy.
It's not easy, no.
No.
It's a lot of cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers to
You did it.
Yeah.
Food is love.
Food is love.
The meal may be over, but we cannot officially call it a night until we've had a coffee together.
Oh, I love that aroma.
A Tunisian tradition. Think of it as sort of a nightcap, if you will. A nightcap that might keep you up the rest of the night.
This coffee we call Zazwa coffee.
Okay.
Coffee came to Tunisia through the Ottoman Empire. The Turkish brought coffee to Tunis. You know, like for us, the Spanish brought the harissa, the Turkish brought the coffee.
I can make a phone call. Danes can bring some herring.
Zazwa, this one is a household coffee. When you are like hanging out after a long day of work, in an afternoon in your veranda, usually you have like a coffee going, like or a tea, but for us coffee, afternoon coffee, with a little bit of fruits or nuts.
It's like the French puts a little lemon in their espresso.
Ah, this coffee is good.
But have you noticed when you look at something and you're waiting for it to boil, it never does. As soon as you look away, it boils. Yes. But I was so impressed how much you knew about American history and St. Louis.
St. Louis is still my home till today, and it was my home for the last 22 years.
As I always say, food is love.
Food is love, yeah.
Yeah.
بصحتك.
Skål.
Skål.
Looking at the city from out here on the river, it's easy to forget that the Great Fire happened to begin with. That resonates with what Faisal said to me about the resilience of the city. There have been disasters, fires, the unforeseen random sucker punch that knocked the city on its back. Now it's clearly one of those left fielders. But Lasse was right. This is the golden age of food in St. Louis. In times of great change, a positive outlook can be the difference between evolving or giving in to the tide. The moral of the story here isn't a moral, it's a history lesson. As Faisal pointed out, we have in some way been here before. Eggs are a universal truth, or at least a good metaphor for one. Eggs are delicate but versatile. You can transform an egg into many different versions of itself. Whether it's a fire, a tornado, or a world pandemic, sometimes things have to break to evolve. It's things that seems to break us, that gives us a platform to create change.
I'm really enamored with this harissa. I'm gonna put some of this in the hollandaise. This is what happened when food crosses borders. Tunisian eggs Benedict with Scandinavian gravlax.
Times like these are a chance to take a lesson from the egg. A lot like eggs, love is universal, and food is love.
Adversity came to town and said, "Show me what you're made of." So we showed it our people, supporting communities by sourcing and distributing fresh food. Our drivers helping grocers restock their shelves. How we're helping restaurants open pop-up markets and encouraging all Americans to take out to give back. Adversity came to town. So we looked it in the eye. And it won't be us that blinks first.
Support for Food is Love is provided by Wild Alaska Salmon and Seafood. 100% fisherman family owned, independent seafood sourcing. Catching, processing, and delivering seafood directly to the consumer's front door. From caught to bought, wild salmon direct from the fishermen. Information at wildalaskasalmonandseafood.com.